Good morning, everyone. Let's have a little fun today and reminisce about stuff. The topic is, let's speak to this new generation. These kids that walk around with their phones in their hands, playing on computers, playing video games. How do you talk to them? Well, you don't have to worry about it. One, the Spirit will do the talking. And you don't have to, you're not saving anybody. We will never save anybody. We can help. God's in charge of birthing Christians. Jesus is the midwife, and we just ran and got hot water. That's all we get to do. And you know, frankly, hot water is there for one reason: to get you out of the way so you don't interfere. Okay, that's in a real life birth. Let's take a look at John's. We're going to start in 16:12. I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Jesus is speaking. He's about ready to leave. He's about ready to be crucified. He's not yet. In verse 13, howbeit, when the Spirit of truth is come, he shall guide you into all the truth. You need the Spirit of God to teach you the Bible. You can't understand it. Jesus spoke in parables, so the Pharisees and the Sadducees wouldn't understand it. But he explained it to the disciples. The same thing goes with the rest of the Bible. Non-godly people won't understand the Bible. For talking about the Spirit of God, for he shall not speak for himself, but what things soever he shall hear. The Spirit of God is the mouthpiece of God, so it hears and watches the words as they go out, I guess. So now he can regurgitate them back. And he shall declare unto you the things that are to come. It seems complicated, but just trust God and trust the Spirit. 14, he shall glorify me, for he shall take of mine and shall declare it unto you. What's he going to take from Jesus? All things whatsoever the Father has are mine. Therefore said I that he is taken of mine and shall declare it unto you. We've been given everything that God has resource-wise to help save people on this planet. Okay. So how do you talk to this younger generation? Every generation tries to outdo the previous one as far as being annoying, absurd, crazy, far out. See, when I was growing up, we had terms like groovy, far out, right on. Look that up in your Funkin' Wagnall. That's not a bad thing to say. That was the name of a dictionary. But it drove the censors crazy because it had alternative meanings. In any case, we had crazy words. The generation before, if you saw Dobie Gillis, Gilligan, who played Maynard G. Krebs on there, was a beatnik. Music and beards, that's all it took to be a beatnik, and you played bongos. So everybody had to be slightly different. How do you talk to them? One-on-one, with love, and the rest of the walls will break down. Don't criticize their language. Just say, I don't understand it, but that's fine. Work with me with what I know, and I'll work with you as you teach me these things. Just one-on-one. You can talk to people one-on-one and communicate, even if you don't speak the same language. No all Espanol either. But you can speak, I can speak a little bit of it, enough to get by. So, you can work through these things, okay? The whole world knows love and compassion in whatever language it's in. So, how do you talk to these younger kids who are playing video games in their parents' basement all day long? Well, you got to talk to them in game terminology, and we're going to have a little fun here. I've played video games from the beginning. Your first original video game now. I'm not talking about Pong, which would have been the first video game, but the first computer game was called Adventure. It was a text-based game. There was no graphics. It was played primarily on terminals connected to mainframes. I played it on a terminal at Stanford University when I was babysitting the beamline. Their physics center had a mile-long beamline and a small ring to do physics experiments. And working on power supplies, we had lots of free time until things broke, and then boom, drop what you're doing and get everything fixed. Because these high-priced bean counters were sitting around no longer counting atoms, but counting money. So we had to get out and fix it. But when we didn't have anything to do, they would let us study in school. If we went to school, which I didn't, I was foolish. I should have taken it. I could have gotten a free bachelor's degree at least. But talking to them, I lost interest in my physics because I could see they weren't going to figure things out anytime soon. Any case, the adventure game, you talk to it in text. Nowadays, everything is graphics. The internet was invented at universities so that universities could transfer files back and forth. Check out this paper I just wrote. Oh, I'm not going to drop it in the mail. I'm going to FTP it to your university server, and you can download it there onto your hard drive and read it there. So they could do that instantaneously. FTP was File Transfer Protocol. And initially it was extremely cumbersome. You had to have DOS-type commands to make it work. It didn't always work, and sometimes it wouldn't tell you why, and it was hard. Somebody came up with some other programs. We used a program called Kermit. But anyhow, modern games are very sophisticated, beautifully designed. There are some bad games, and I'm not going to promote one or the other right now. Use common sense. It's not the game that's the bad, it's anything. Don't preoccupy with it. Don't addict it. Just, if you want to play a video game, find your free time, and if that's what you want to do as opposed to going outside and playing, then that's what you want to do. I'd highly recommend doing both. Go outside and play for a while, and then when you got to come in, if you're still awake and want to play a game, play a little bit of game. But don't play 14 hours on the game. I play video games. I play for an hour or two, maybe. Sometimes I go in for 15 minutes and come right back out and get back to work, doing other things. You got to kind of set things up so that if you're invested in the stores in the game, check on them and make sure things are selling, and if not, lower the pricing. You got to do that kind of stuff in some of these games. But my son plays a video game. He streams it online, and I sometimes will play the game with him to help him out. And I watch his videos when he streams them to give him a viewer count. He does other things. He goes to church. We talk about the Bible all the time. So, priorities. But if that's what you want to do, play video games. So anyhow, if you want to talk to these video game people, tell them when you become a Christian, you are a level 1 character. You're a Christian level 1. The Bible calls them babes in Christ. You can only feed them on milk. So I wouldn't put a first-year Christian up against a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon or any of the other cults, if you will. That takes a level 30 or 40 to be able to do that, and properly equipped. When you're developing a character in a game, you spend time exploring, which is my favorite part of the game. The graphics involved in some of these newer games. I love the big open world games where you can ride around on a horse or run if you like, but I prefer the horse. And you look at the beautiful scenery and the trees. Like I said, the original adventure game was text. Walk north. You see a beautiful field. Well, now, if you walk north, you will see a beautiful field on the screen. And you can recognize everything. there's a frog on the riverbank or the lake shore, you're going to see it. You're going to hear it. You're going to watch it swat for flies. The leaves will fall off the trees sometimes. There will be flowers that you can pick, that you can use to make herbs and stuff out of, so that you can make healing potions. This is not magic stuff. Every culture in the world has some kind of farming guide on how to make medicinal potents and drugs and all kinds of stuff. But anyhow, it gets them into the real world without getting into the real world. And the advantage to it is, just like with Christians in the games, you can get a second chance. If you try to kill a dragon and you don't have enough power and the dragon kills you, you go back and start over. You keep doing it until you figure out how to do it right. Or you go out and you farm, as it's called, looking for better gear, whatever it takes to be able to beat the dragon. I want a bee flying by my window. I'm constantly outside with my wasp spray. They come in and they build nests in any orifice that they can get into. And occasionally I'll get one in here. And the only thing I can think of is that there's a vent here behind the stove, or I have electric power going out the window and it's open a little bit. Okay. Rabbit trail. So, you talk to these people and tell them you have to level up as a Christian. How do you level up? Gamers go on and watch videos. You're watching a video now on how to get better at what you're doing. Gamers will do the same thing. They'll go and watch a video. And you can go search for videos on any topic in the Bible. You want to know how to say something or do something? Just Google it. And right now, it's still open. I wouldn't trust WikiLinks or some of the other ones, or the AI. But just Google it for right now. And if it gives you a verse, get a Bible software that you can put on your computer. I use eSword, eSword, but I like to say it's sword, just like I like to say shul. But I use eSword, and with that, I can install all the different versions of the Bible that I want, from standard red letter to Hebrew if I want. And I have that on here sometimes. I'm not good at it anymore. I can kind of read the letters and the vowels and get the pronunciation, but I've lost a lot of the meaning on a lot of these things. But that's another rabbit trail I'm going to stop on before I go any further. We're talking language here, so it's important to get the language right. So when you talk to these gamers, tell them they have to study the materials that are out there. There's gaming guides, there's Christian guides. How to be a better Christian. How to be a better gamer. How are you going to do this? Which one of the talents that God has given you are you going to be working on? There's preachers and teachers and health people and evangelists, and there's all these different people. When I'll talk about the fruits of the Spirit, those are your aspects. In a game, you might have strength and health and maybe mana and maybe on one of the games I'm playing, faith and intelligence are in there as attributes. So those are the fruits of the Spirit that you get to match up with that. You only get those from the Spirit, so you have to stay connected to the Spirit. So the thing is, you can relate to them. Now, maybe you don't know enough about it, and you can get them to tell you more about what they're doing. People playing video games are not evil. Sometimes they can get addicting, and the games are designed that way. You have to do this, then you can do this, then you can do this. And you get awards after doing each thing. And in order to be able to beat the boss at the end, which is the big bad guy or monster or whatever at the end, you have to have all the skill built up on all the previous ones to be able to do that. And then it's still not going to be easy. You have to level your character. You can't stay at level 1. You got to go to level 4, 5, 10. My character that I'm working with my son on is 135 level. I think it goes to 500 or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm not near the top yet. But the gaming it's a life experience. Christianity, it's a life experience. Find the commonality. There's a lot of commonality in that. Learn to talk with the current generation. We didn't have cell phones growing up. I had a stick, and that stick could be anything. It could be a gun, it could be a cane, it could be a rocket. Whatever I wanted that stick to be, I could make it. But nowadays, imagination is really spoon-fed to these people. That's why they're having problems adjusting. They haven't learned to deal with things like that. But you can talk to them in their gaming terminology and tell them, well, if you're not able to handle that as a Christian, you're not leveled up enough. Work on it. Read guides on how to level up on how to do that. You can't talk to a Jehovah's Witness because, one, you're not high enough level, and two, you've got to be prepared. You've got to have all these special things lined up. You've got to know what they're going to say to you so you can counter it. They've already got the counters for you. Whatever you tell them about, they've got 20 counters for. They will knock you down if you're not a strong Christian and make you doubt. They've got nothing to do but prove God wrong because they're wrong. And Satan helps them. So you got to get the Spirit to help you. This is a spiritual war. We're not talking magic. Magic is sort of in that same relative genre, but we're talking spiritual from the point of view of God versus Satan, God and his angels versus Satan and his demons. It is a behind-the-scenes battle going on. We don't see it. They're invisible. Go out equipped. Whatever you're going to do in life, you need to be equipped for. You can't have a self-help van and drive it to a house and have them say, help fix my toilet that won't stop leaking, or help fix my refrigerator, my air conditioner, and not have any tools in their van. Whatever you claim to be able to fix, you got to have the tools that you need to fix everything on that. You got to take a capacitor off an air conditioner and replace it with a new one. First off, you better know what you're doing because it's dangerous. But second, you better have some spare capacitors. And I don't know, you're going to have to know how many different types you're going to have and carry those with you. If you're going to work on plumbing, you got to have, the plumbing fixtures that you need to put in a toilet if it's leaking. There's all kinds of stuff you need to have. Being a Christian is the same way. Being a gamer, you have to be prepared. So tell them that they have to spend time watching online tutorials. They're going to be doing that with their game. Get them to do it with some Christian channels and learn how to be a better Christian. Okay, well, this is all I really have for today. Iran is begging to end the war, but they're not willing to give up. The Ayatollahs say, well, if we can stay in power, then we can keep negotiating. We're stopped enriching uranium. But they've lied and lied so many times about it. Are they going to say, well, okay, let us stay in power and we're stopped? Do you believe them? I don't. The people that want the world rid of Jews want to stay in power. I would insist that they not be in power. I'd charge them with war crimes. Frankly, they're bombing civilian sites. I'd arrest them and charge them with war crimes. Or if they could find out where they're at, I'd drop every bomb I could on the hiding place and take them all out. Send them to God and let God deal with them. They're attacking God's people. All right, so that's enough of this. Find ways to communicate. You can. God will provide the means, as we saw in John 16. The Spirit will help you. But find a way to relate. Find what their common interests are. You may find a niche that you can get into. I could talk to the young people on games because I play games. If I played all the time, you wouldn't see me here on this channel, so I'm not an addicted person. But I do play, so I understand what they go through. My son tries desperately to show me how to do stuff, and I can't do it, and he gets frustrated because he's young and he's grown up with this. Like I said, I didn't have a cell phone growing up. I remember when I got my first pager, all you got was a phone number. You had to go find a phone because you didn't have one. You had to go find a phone, find a store or restaurant, ask to borrow their phone, call the number, and find out what they needed. Sometimes it might be your boss, you recognize the number. Sometimes it might be a client, if you've got multiple clients, recognize the number. Other times it may be just anybody out of the blue that just happens to know how to reach you, family or whatever. Then I remember getting the first display with text. You'd actually get 4 or 5 lines of text, and you'd have to scroll if it was more than that. You had a limited amount, but that's all it was sending, just a few bytes of data. It's all in numbers. The computer doesn't know what you're typing. AI might help give it a little bit of help, but back then, all they were doing, hiccups again, was sending numbers. They used the ASCII system. The letter A was was it 43? There was upper and lowercase numbers, like A, B, C, D, E, F would be 43, 44, 45, 46. I don't remember those exact numbers. They probably are, but I mean, it's been many years. But the point of the matter is the computer only understands numbers. And a 43 is hexadecimal. You got to convert that to binary, because the computer only understands binary, ones and zeros. If you've got 4 bits, you got 0, 1, a 2. Put the 2 and the 1 together, you get 3. And this one would be 4. Put the 4, the 2, and the 1 together, and you get 7. This would be 8. So that's how binary works. That's all the computer understands, ones and zeros. But it has billions of them, trillions of them to work with. So, all right, that's enough. Until we meet in the clouds, go out and help somebody learn to speak their language. God bless.